It's finally watermelon season, so let's paint a watermelon picnic. First, grab a mop brush. We're going to do our sky, take some light blue and white, and just do a couple back and forth strokes for your sky at the top of your canvas. I'm using 12 by 12 textured cardstock today. Once you have all your sky in there, then it's up to you if you want to add some clouds. I'm just going to do some simple clouds with my brush while I still have the blue and white. I dipped in for more white. And then to paint a cloud, just do some bouncing circular strokes with your brush. A couple tips for clouds. Make sure if you have multiple clouds that they're not lined up in a row, you want them different heights. And make sure they're not perfect circles. They should be lumpy and bumpy. I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things to do on a picnic is to go cloud watching, so you could even add some shapes in there as well. Now for the picnic, let's paint a picnic blanket, starting with a clean mop brush with red, and I'm going to tint it with a little bit of white so it's not solid. Let's just do some back and forth strokes. It doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. It can have waves in it because maybe it's sitting on uneven grass. And then dry it. Now before we move on, let's grab a round brush with some dark red then, and do a couple back and forth strokes for a shadow to our watermelon. Let's pretend they're there, casting a shadow onto the blanket. Just like that. I'm going to have 2 slices, so I did 2 shadows. Once those are dry, now we can paint the watermelon. We're going to start with the pink part. Taking some lighter shades of pink, we're going to do a slice of watermelon first. So on the left-hand side, I did a tilted line up to the left and a long smiley face coming off of the right. This gives you a little bit of perspective. For the front-facing half, we're going to create a triangle. So bring up above the smiley face a point like this. That's your triangle shape for the front of your watermelon. And then do another small line tilted up to the left on the top, connecting them with a straight line. That shows you the side of the slice of watermelon. And then to shade it, I don't know if you've noticed on slices of watermelon where the lightest part is usually towards the rind. So I'm going to do a couple upward strokes of just the light pink all the way across the bottom. Now we're going to get slightly darker in the middle. So taking some medium shades of pink, I'm going to blend in a couple strokes, blending it into the lighter pink up towards the top like this. And then to make the watermelon look really ripe and juicy, we're going to take some bright red and brush down into that medium pink while it's still wet to make it blend. See how that works? So I stuck with the front side first, and then I did the side to keep the perspective. Make sure the brush strokes are going along with those lines. There, that looks nice and ripe. Now for the watermelon slice over here, I'm going to do a half slice of watermelon. So instead of some perspective, I'm just going to do one long U shape. It's okay if it overlaps with your other one. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Brush up the really light pink first along the line. And then instead of a completely straight top, I want it to look like somebody took a bite out of it already. So I did a couple little U shapes going down like that, and then a line straight across. Now let's keep filling it in. Take your medium pink and blend that into the light pink. And to make it look nice and ripe, again, take your bright red and fill in the top, blending it into that medium section. Ooh, I am getting hungry. So ready for summer. I know it's almost here. So close. There we go. And don't forget to outline the top edges with that bright pink as well to help it stand out. Going to do the same thing on this smaller slice, going to outline each of the lines with the bright pink just to help it stand out from the background. And we could do a couple little strokes into that darker red of the lighter pink. Ooh, I like that. Let's do some to the other slice, but instead of straight up and down, let's do some curved strokes just to go along with the shape of the watermelon. There. Now make sure to dry it. I know that we don't have the rind on yet, but before we do, let's add some stripes to the picnic blanket. Taking a size 6 flat brush, I'm going to take some white, tinted with some red so it's not super bright, and add some checkers. Starting with 2 long wavy lines in the middle of the big red stripe like this. They don't have to be perfectly straight because again, maybe it's sitting on uneven grass. And to make the checkered pattern, just take your flat brush and do lines coming down from the bottom of your watermelon off the picture. Notice how the lines I'm making slightly wider towards the bottom of the picture to make it look like the picnic blanket is coming towards us. And do them all the way across. Notice the left lines are tilted to the left just a little bit and the ones on the right are slightly tilted to the right. That gives you even more perspective. Then you can fix up your lines. Now, I do like how the red is tinted in with the white, but I do want to add some pops of white for highlights. So take some of your white with your flat brush and dry brush on some of the white in the middle. But you don't have to cover the lines completely. Now it looks like a picnic blanket. Great. Now the shadow also looks funny because it's underneath the lines, so you can water down some of the dark red you used and just add some over top. This will make the red look transparent, showing that the shadow is on top of the white lines. Once you do have your blanket finished, then let's add the green to our watermelon. Start with a dark green on your small round brush and do an outline of it underneath the bottom of each of your slices. I did on the one on the left first because the one over here on the right overlaps that one just ever so slightly. And don't be afraid if it goes off the picture. So it should look something like this. Then grab some bright green, dip into some white to make it even brighter, and we're going to do a second green outline over top of the dark green outline. You can blend that light green into the dark green like this. Notice I'm doing just curved strokes, and I'm also going to take some white and do some expression strokes in there as well. It's usually really light towards the pink and red and really dark at the very bottom. Do the same thing to the half slice over here. Bright green first, blending it into the dark green, and add a couple strokes of white going along with the curve. There. Now this is totally optional, but take a detail brush, and if you still have some dark green, add a couple grass strokes coming up from the bottom of your blanket. If you're in the grass, there would be grass all around the edges of your blanket, so make it look like it's coming from the front, and maybe there's some sticking up from behind, like this. That's up to you. I think that's a cute detail. And we can't forget the seeds, so clean off your detail brush, put black on it, and notice I'm using the side of my brush as a stamp for my seeds. Having them all angled different directions, I'm just pressing down and pulling up anywhere I want a black seed. Something like this. So super fun. I think this is my favorite part. You know what else we could do? At a picnic, usually there's some ants. So while we have the black paint, let's add a couple of them coming towards the watermelon. Just do 3 little circles. They don't have to be all in a perfect line, even though I know they follow each other. I'm going to do 4 or 5 of them. And then it's up to you how many details you do. I'm going to do very teeny tiny little legs coming off the bottom. Let's do a couple tiny little white highlights to make them look round. And how about a few antennae? Aw, super cute. And then take some white paint and add a little tiny dot in each of your black seeds to help them pop. You don't have to do this, but I think it really makes them stand out. If you don't have a tiny enough detail brush, you could also use a toothpick for this. There, it's all in the details. Now for some final touches, I am going to touch up my bright pink outlining along the edge of the rind because the bright pink got covered up pretty well. Let's fix up some of the outlines of the watermelon. And then why don't we add, let's see, a sun. Taking some yellow mixed with some white. Instead of doing a pouncer sun like I usually do, let's have one coming from the corner. Just do a curve and fill in that edge. White helps it cover the blue. And there's our watermelon picnic. Oh, this was so much fun for summer. I hope you have fun with it. I can't wait to see how all your picnics turn out. And if you like this tutorial, follow me for more. Have fun and happy painting, everybody.